Hi everyone, my name is Drew, and over the past few months I've done my best to learn to rebind Bibles, to take them out of their original cover and put them in a brand new leather cover. In this video I'm going to go over some of the results of my labor and also show you some of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and a few things that I've learned along the way. So first up, we've got my first attempt to rebind a Bible, and you'll notice something conspicuously absent from this attempt: the Bible itself. So what I've got here is a blue lambskin that I ordered from eBay, and then on the inside we've got a black goat skin, and I did what you're supposed to do, right? Measured my Bible, cut it out, folded the outside cover over the inside liner, cut out the middle so that my book block would go right in there. The problem was that I made my measurements badly, and this cover ended up being too small for the text block that I was trying to use. The front of the text block would have been like sticking out over here a little bit. And so one of the first things I learned is that it's actually pretty difficult to get your measurements right and to cut well as you're trying to make these Bible covers. Another kind of my first attempts here, I was trying to do some spine hubs. They look all right. A little bit of definition to them there, but not the best. And I was also using a piece of suede leather right here to kind of give some reinforcement to the spine. I eventually decided that was really too thick for what I was trying to do. You'll also notice that I gave it a shot at perimeter stitching, at punching holes around the edge of this cover and then stitching it. Did a little bit right there. I discovered that's difficult, and as of yet I have not really had a successful attempt at perimeter stitching on a Bible. Hoping to get back at trying that sometime soon. So that was attempt number one. Not bad, but certainly not the result I was hoping for. So let's skip ahead now and take a look at my third attempt to rebind the Bible. This one, hey, it does actually have a text block in it, so I guess we'll call it a success. This is actually a Hebrew Bible, and it was one that I had that it was a hardcover, and it was kind of falling apart, so I said, why not? Let's try to rebind it. Same leather, same exact hides that I was using, so a blue lambskin on the outside and a black goat skin on the inside. I eventually realized that this really wasn't a sturdy enough leather to use on the outside, and it was also too thick to do these fold-overs well, especially on the corners. So I needed either to find a thinner leather or learn to skive the leather. Now for these spine hubs, what I'm using for these is just this leather lace here. Real simple. And it gets the job done pretty well on this one, but I haven't put anything under this spine. So instead of putting that suede leather like I did on the other cover, on this one I just didn't put anything at all. And that worked okay. I mean, the spine looks alright. One of the problems is, though, it doesn't have any stability to it. So when you open up the Bible, it just kind of does that instead of staying at a nice curve or something like that. Something else that I really failed at on this Bible was trying to take the sharp corners of a hardback and then round them nicely. I gave it a shot, but it's pretty ugly. Not very even at all. So definitely need to do a better job if I try to do that again. And again, I was having trouble with the measurements. So this cover is only barely big enough to contain the book inside, and this fold over here is getting ripped up as I open and shut this book. So this is at least usable, but it's not great. Now I will say one thing I haven't found very hard at all is the process of deconstructing the book from its original cover and then putting on new spine reinforcement and doing these head and tail bands and even the ribbons. That's all been pretty straightforward. I never really had much trouble with that. It's mostly just the measurements of the leather and kind of some of the finer details to make it look nice. So this was attempt number 3, a moderate success, but nothing beautiful. Certainly functional. So now we'll skip ahead to attempt number 7. For this one we've got a different leather. This is a black sheepskin. And this is a KJV compact Bible that I've rebound. So it's really small. It's got 6-point font. And I was a little bit nervous that I wouldn't like this sheepskin. I actually think it turned out really well. It's a very unique kind of look to it. Very unique texture. It does have a crease on this back cover here, but it looks pretty good. So something different that I did this time, instead of folding over the outside cover onto the inside liner, I've actually folded the cover onto itself and then kind of made a butt joint. So instead of there being a ridge right here, the two pieces of leather come together completely smoothly, since they're pretty much the same thickness. And I think I did a pretty good job on that. The two pieces are fused together pretty nicely, so there's not really any way you can peel them apart, and it looks pretty good. You can see the corners there, not looking too bad. Taking a look at the spine, instead of using the suede under the spine, I switched to using cardstock, and I think it looks a lot better. Gives you pretty nice sharp definition between these ridges, and also gives your spine some stability when you open it up. I'm hoping that it's enough stability and that I don't really need to find a stiffer material to put in there. You'll also notice I got some better ribbons going here. These are gold. And another major difference is that I did art gilt on this one so that the page edges are actually red as you open it up, and it gives it a nice copper look on the outside. So this is definitely the best Bible that I've done so far, and I'm pretty pleased with it. I've actually put it up for sale because I don't really need it. I don't really use the KJV very much, and I have another one that I use. And so I think that I've come a long way, and I still have a lot to learn. I'd really like to give some more shots at doing stitching on the edges of these Bibles, and just a few other things that I like to learn, tooling, making some nice lines and cool things like that. So still working on that. My ultimate goal, I'll show you here. I'm a big fan of the original languages, and I've got these two huge Bibles, the standard editions of the Hebrew Bible and the Greek New Testament, and they're the exact same footprint and exact same paper from Hendrickson. So my ultimate goal is someday to actually bind these two blocks together and put them in a nice leather. So that's kind of what I'm working toward. That's my ultimate goal someday. But for now, I'm happy with the progress I've made. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video today and maybe learned a few things. If you've got any advice for me, if you're a more experienced rebinder than I am, I'd love to hear that. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.